Russian-Canadian Democratic Alliance.
Bonjour, Monsieur le Premier ministre. Bonjour.
Hello, Mr. Prime Minister. Hello, Madam Commissioner. I am representing the Russian-Canadian Alliance. We have heard that some disinformation campaigns could have affected some political parties in the 2021 elections. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I want to remove politics about this, and I want to talk about disinformation. Mr. Trudeau, I want to indicate that the conclusion from our national security experts and the panel in charge of ensuring the integrity of our elections, well, they agreed that there was no impact in the results due to foreign interference, whether it's in the different counties or in the general elections at large. So yes, there were attempts to interfere, but our elections were, the integrity of our elections stood firm. Question. I want to ask if that kind of attempt affected just one party, or could it affect all parties, leaders of all parties, like the Liberal Party and the others? Answer. Well, the involvement of foreign interference can affect just one party, all parties, or a few parties. It can also affect the country of origin, the county, and the region as well. Question. Did you witness this as a leader of the Liberal parties during the 2021 and 2019 elections? Answer. In my capacity as a party leader, I was supposed to campaign, speak to as many Canadians as possible, and ensure that as many Liberal members are elected as possible. I was confident in the institutions that we had built, like the P5, to ensure that the integrity of the elections stood firm, and they concluded that in both elections, 2021 and 2019, these elections were free and fair. Question. Let's put aside the institution. I want to ask you this question as a party leader campaigning in 2019 and 2021. I want to know what you heard with your own eyes and heard with your own ears and saw with your own eyes. Did these attempts affect members of the Liberal parties during both campaigns? Answer. Well, disinformation campaigns were quite widespread, more in 2021 than in 2019. We saw conspiracy theories with respect to vaccination. We also witnessed conspiracy theories about the World Economic Forum, and even personal attacks against me and my family. So yes, there was misinformation and disinformation during those campaigns. Question. Well, it can't be easy, especially when it affects your family. But my question is, you understand how social media works. So you did your campaign in 2015 thanks to social media. I'm sure it was very helpful in that campaign. I want to know whether there were some disinformation campaigns that were more important, and do you think that it impacted voters during those two campaigns? Answer. Well, every political party was using social media to try and garner votes. So, of course, social media played an important role in those elections. Question. I was talking about disinformation campaigns, wondering if you know whether we can influence voters in that regard. Answer. I think we can see that disinformation and misinformation impacts several people. There are thousands of Canadians who believed that vaccination was more dangerous than COVID-19 itself. That is an example of people who were affected, sometimes fatally, by disinformation. Mr. Tira, you have a last question? This is my last question. I want to know if you witnessed disinformation that could, if you had witnessed this, why didn't you raise this issue with government institutions, those who are mandated and authorized to act on these misinformation and disinformation campaigns, especially when it affects the integrity of elections? Answer: because those institutions, and I speak regularly about this with my national security advisors about the impact of misinformation and disinformation. We can see, let's remember the situation that happened with the convoys in Ottawa to understand that it's a real situation, but it's not up to me to tell the panels that you have to be wary of disinformation and misinformation. It's part of their job to ensure that the elections keep their integrity, and they did a good job in 2019 and 2021. And we understand that in 2025, it will be even more difficult, and they have to keep doing the excellent job.
One last question, if I may. If you, as the party leader, you're in an election campaign and you see serious interference, false information, would you report that? Is Elections Canada doing its work? I trust that they will do their work, but it is part of our responsibility, all of us, whether we're citizens, candidates, party leaders, or political parties. We all need to work with the site task force to report any misinformation or disinformation. And this is part of what we're going to do with the panel. We will raise issues with the panel, but the panel does not depend on us to do its work. But yes, absolutely, we can contribute, and we should. Thank you. The Attorney General.
Re-examination.
No, thank you, Commissioner.
Merci beaucoup. Alors, je ne sais pas si je dois dire que vous êtes...
Thank you very much. I don't know if I can say you are free to leave, but I will allow myself to tell you that you are free to leave. Thank you very much.
Alors, s'il vous plaît, this sitting of the Foreign Interference Commission